Christian for KaijuPop.com, and this is Matchstick Memories on iOS. Describes itself as a meta-text adventure. This is by Heavy Handed Games, Cooper Buckingham, who has done AAA stuff, things like MMORPGs variously, and Sims 2, and did stuff for Sony Online, and has apparently made this in his free time, and it's kind of very different to that sort of thing. Kind of an interesting, weird take on the puzzle game genre, and I'm not really sure early on in chapter 2 here whether I like it or not. I certainly really love the idea of it. So there's a story to this, unlike a lot of puzzle games, in that you're this guy you've got some sort of amnesia and you're going back to things that remind you of places. It's very, very sort of minimalist, and lots of, all this text in entirely lowercase, and all of this stuff reminds me very much of a Darkroom. Just after I got done interviewing Amir Rajan, who did a Darkroom iOS, got into this. And so, right, I haven't seen this bit before, shit. I need to pause here and look at the rules of what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so this is, okay, I have done this bit before. Basically, this is a connection of sort of puzzle mini games that are wrapped together inside of a story. So there's a couple of different Match 3 variants. There's one lights, where you're sort of touching one symbol to change everything adjacent to it. Lots of stuff that wouldn't be out of place in a Professor Layton thing. This one, which is basically Minefield. So it's all about we're safe through there. How this works, right? Minesweeper rather. The numbers tell you how many adjacent squares, or how many squares in their cardinal directions, and 4 diagonals that are dangerous. So you get rid of all the zeros first, and you do that, and you do. Hang on, that was foolish. I should stop there. That's safe. So that's safe. So that must be safe. And that must be safe. Where it's interesting is that, the puzzles themselves not entirely exciting, and not obviously the kind of thing that you have seen before, most likely. And we know, because of where things are, that the top, left, and the bottom, so that's safe, and then that one's dangerous because it's surrounded by ones. The puzzles here are not that interesting in and of themselves. What is interesting is the way they're presented. So it will be this kind of thing of, you're wandering around. If you're wandering around at night, then all these tiles will be black, and you can only recognize them by the symbols that are in on the front. That's pretty interesting, because it's tied into the story there, and also it makes some sections a little bit harder because you can't instantly spot the color of a symbol to go, that's near to another one, so I can match a 3 there in the Match 3 segments. So that's pretty interesting. But in and of themselves, the puzzles not too thrilling. What is interesting is the top left here. There's a few things at the bottom that are interesting, first of all, and then some things in the top left. So the stuff at the bottom, occasionally you collect these runes. There are 6 to collect, and each rune has sort of 2 segments to it, 2 matchboxes that you find, and if you can use these, they're just like perks, and you get them at the end of every chapter, and they just help you on. So I know that this spot is safe. Woo. But that costs, me 30 sort of magic points kind of thing. But I know, so I know this is an out now, and that says 2, we know that's out. So, hear me thinking an awful lot. I reveal 3 segments very briefly. That was very brief, wasn't it? It was incredibly brief. There's one. The yellow meant failure. No, what's interesting, really interesting, is in the top left. So you see pass 0 out of 2, unlock the door. Fail 1 out of 4, broken glass to get through the door, right? So it's kind of like a choose your own. Wow, that was stupid of me. It's kind of a choose your own adventure game in a weird way, and that's kind of cool. There's, in a sense, it's purely, and the game tells you that the paths you have to choose from, for the most part, it's the good path and the bad path, and that's a bit of a shame. They could have done more interesting things with that. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that in some of the match 3 style segments, it will be like, hey, match 5 red tiles and you'll go north. If you match any number of other colored tiles before you do this, then you'll go east. It's that kind of thing, which is really interesting. It's really kind of cool. I think and not many games do that, and I'm having to think while I'm talking. That thing is unsafe, so that means this is safe, and that thing is unsafe, which means this is safe. Phew, did one bit. God, if I fail anymore, it's gonna send me over broken glass. I'm gonna be in trouble. One. I'm gonna take a chance on this one. Phew, safe again. But that means this one or this one. This one or this one is an out. Let's get that 2. And you can hear me think, you can hear the gears turning, and I would ordinarily be okay, but then I have to talk about it at the same time. It's really difficult. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This one. Fail. Oh no. You know what? I'm just going to send myself, because I'd have to pass it twice anyway. And that's there's the annoying thing, is that you often have to play a lot of these puzzles that aren't particularly fun in and of themselves, unable to advance. And sometimes, we know that. So it's that. Oh no! Oh dear, broken glass. So I'm taking the broken glass thing. What's? Oh yeah, no, yeah, right. Fuck. What? Oh, this is really dumb. Yeah, this is the part of the game that I really hate. Is that sometimes, I'll say in the top left, for example, fail for a broken glass, and it will give you a branch in the story. It will say, oh, you crawled through broken glass and what have you. And it will still advance. It's just that, hey, you've had something negative happen to you. But what's happened here is just, it's not that, it's just sent me back to the beginning again. It's not that I haven't, the story's morphed in any way. It's just sent me back to do this again. And it's never clear when the story is actually going to fork for me doing something different, or when it's just gonna make me do it again. It's just another excuse to have a fail state, and that's really the big downer here, because I think initially it kind of makes you go what, and then you see what it's doing. And once I sort of figured out what the game's kind of about, I was really into seeing more of it. And then it's just okay, so you've just kind of you've got an alternate kind of shits. I just God, don't want to do Minesweeper anymore. Fucking. I should pay attention. I should start thinking about this more, but I just want to show another puzzle, really, and advance a bit. And that's frustrating. And the fact that it has many different puzzles is a bit annoying, because some of them you will like and some of them you will not like. And inevitably the ones that you don't like will be the ones that you have to play over and over again until you get them right. As I say, that's like a really great shame, because it is just such a cool idea. There's lots of sort of puzzle RPGs out at the moment, and yeah, I mean, like things like 10 Million or Block Legend, games like that, Puzzle Quest, back in the day. And they're kind of about, although they might have stories very simple stories. Oh fuck, you like save fragments? I have to think. It's okay. That one's safe, right? And I need to shut up. Right, this one's definitely dangerous. That, right? So that's probably safe. Right, phew. Right, and the one above that's definitely dangerous. Okay, so that's that too. That's that too, but not 3. So that's safe, right? So then that says 2. That says 1. This one's safe, and I did it. Yay! But then you have to do it twice with different puzzles. Yeah, oh, it's so repetitive. Oh no. Because as I said, I mean, a lot of them kind of like the puzzles in themselves, where like games like 10 Million and Block Legend, these puzzle RPGs, even Puzzle and Dragons to an extent. I think where they work well, or where they kind of attract an audience, is that the puzzle in itself is kind of this abstract thing, and fuck. The puzzle in itself is kind of this abstract thing, so they're then presenting graphics over the top of that make it less abstract and give you a visual representation of what your weird actions are doing in this world in a way that makes sense to it. And I really like the style of writing in this, where it's deliberately kept vague and mysterious, because rather than making the abstract more literal, it's making the abstract more abstracted and even more kind of obfuscated, and I think that's really interesting. I think just what it's doing, that's dangerous, so that's 2, that's safe. So this is safe. Oh, fucking finally. Did it, man. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, I like this. I like the fact that it's just these 4 lines of text and very, very simply done. Because it's just laying it is. I mean, it's laying mechanics that we all know about, but with very sort of abstract presentation, and then it's further abstracting it by, you know, giving you this weird story on top. I think that's really, really cool. The problem is in, I kind of think, presenting, like, I guess because it calls itself a text adventure, it kind of presents the idea in your mind that it's going to be branching a lot more than it actually is, and in actual fact it's fairly linear. So here's like a, you know, a standard thing where we're matching colors here. You know, you're matching light colored symbols, blah blah blah, by tracing a path through them. I'm sure you've played something like this before. And you know, here the branches are either I match a bunch of colors, 17 of 49 I've got at the moment. It has to be more than 3 to count as a point. Otherwise, yeah, that's just a wasted chain. And the number of turns, if I take more than 25 turns to do it, then I'll slip and fall. I think probably you can guess by the reading of that is not a branch. You know, I will slip and fall, and then it will say, oh no, you have to do this section again. And I think that's a shame. As someone, I think I've been kind of on a bit of an interactive fiction kick recently. 80 Days I have to blame for that. And I think, you know, there's a really interesting place that you could go with that, where, you know, your performances in a puzzle kind of affects how you interact with your surroundings more, and it does affect the direction you go every time, and it does affect the kind of choices you make or even your interaction with another character would be really, really interesting. Here's another one where I don't know what it does. Sometimes you have to look at the tutorial. Okay, so this is a switching tiles kind of thing. So you just kind of you swap tiles. You can swap any color I want. As you can see, there was something in the text about it mysteriously glowing. So everything's changing color all the time, and that kind of it does in a way, perhaps not as much as perhaps was the vision here, but it does make you kind of. It screws with your thought process a little bit, and that's pretty cool. So the trick here, as I said, is 3 does not count towards your score. It has to be more than 3. So you have to shuffle around. And some of these puzzles got ridiculously frustrating because it will do things like mess with what tiles it actually gives you, so it restricts you from finding the color that you need. And it will do things like that. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, I'm going to play more of it. There will be a review on kaijupop.com inevitably. But yeah, the feeling I get from it is that it could be a fair bit more than it actually is right now. But it is the basis of something really cool. Like the idea of like this text adventures as well being reasonably passive, and then having this having like puzzle games layered on top of it that actually influence how the story unfolds. I think that's a really cool idea. Let's swipe this one that way. I mean, you need to get like 2 and 2 together, don't you? Bring you down there, and this bit is kind of tedious because you can actually swap as many times as you want. I suppose actually it is racking up my turns on this one, so I should have probably thought about this a little bit more, but let's see if we can finish it. I don't think I will actually. Sometimes you get lucky with the combos. It's going to be touch and go, I think, but I'm not convinced here. I wasted a turn there by not thinking. Oh, it really is going to be touch and go. But the annoying thing is that, I think by, the fact that I'm not going to do it. When you think that it's literally changing the way that the story shapes itself, then it's really pretty cool. But it's like, and I love the idea of, okay, you're barely able to see here, so we're gonna make this puzzle hard to see. That's so interesting. But by just having one of the branches be a fail state, then it actually means you're less invested in what's happening in the puzzle, because it's like, it doesn't matter if I do badly, because I can just do it again. So yeah, that sounds like I'm coming to the end of this on a bit of a Debbie Downer, but it is really, it's a really, really cool idea. And you can try it out for yourself. It's Matchstick Memories on iOS right now for $3, I think. It's just that, yeah, I really hope this turns into something more than it is, because right now it doesn't quite match up to like some fairly obvious potential here. So hopefully it does get expanded upon. So yeah, there'll be more on Matchstick Memories, including a full written review on kaijupop.com in the near future. In the meantime, I've been Chris John. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.